we are done with the snowfall, but the travel issues are just beginning.
Some roads are definitely better than others. The forecast worked out the way we expected it to.
We're definitely trying to take it slow because these roads are slick.
Where you see those tire tracks, what's underneath there's ice.
The coast is seeing the most snow from this storm.
It is beautiful, and in this case, it's going to hang around for a little while.
Our goal is to make sure you know exactly what the road conditions are like.
We have the largest news team in the Triangle providing coverage this morning to keep you and your family safe.
We are also following the breaking news from Raleigh overnight, where a police officer is in critical condition after a shooting that left 2 other people dead. The new information we're learning about the woman who called 911.
Certainly a lot that is happening today and a lot of snow on the ground, and
yes.
We've been covering it all morning long and we'll continue to do so. Thanks for staying with us on our continuing coverage of the snow. If you're looking for the Today Show, you can find it on channel 5.2 and Spectrum channel 1255. Good morning, I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. She's been tracking all the snow, sort of pushing out towards our coast now, but we got some snow. I had to wipe my car down this morning.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I shouldn't say this. My husband did it for me. How about that? Check points for him. Satellite and radar pushing out here with the snow. We are looking at the back edge of the cloud cover, moving through the triad right now. And so once that sun comes out, 1, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And 2, that's going to help to melt some of the snow that's still on a lot of the side roads. Dual Doppler 5000 radar still showing a little bit of snow there at the coast. Coming up, we'll talk about how much they saw. This is a look at some of the areas in our viewing area. We're going to see these continuing to come on in, so we'll keep updating them. But so far, Tarboro, the highest at 4 inches, Wilson at 3, Goldsboro 2, Cary at 1.3, Chapel Hill an inch, Lillington about just a little bit under an inch, and officially at RDU it was 1.5 inches, which is about what we were forecasting. I'll see the back edge of the cloud cover shifting eastward by mid-morning, and that sun comes out, and it's going to be beautiful. We take a live look at Franklinton. A lot of roads look like this, some snow on them, but there's some peaks of that black pavement there, and once the sunshine gets a hold of that, starts to warm it up, it'll really start to melt that snow on some of the roads. 21, though, is our temperature. Our wind is out of the northeast at 11 miles per hour, so a pretty significant wind. That's why we have a cold weather advisory. The wind chill is bitter out there. It feels like 9 in Durham and Raleigh. It feels like 6 now in Rocky Mount, 12 in Southern Pines, and 10 in Fayetteville. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is getting ready to head back outside to the fountain. He saw that 9. He's like, yes. Not really. Hour by hour wind chill. Just watch it as your kids are heading out. You know, kids never want to wear their coats. This is definitely a day that they need to put those coats on if they're headed out to play in the snow. Our high temperatures will only be near freezing. So what we're tracking is the end of the snow. It's over. We still have some slick roads out there, especially side roads, and some bitter wind chills this morning. We may see that repeated again tomorrow morning. Ken's here to take a look at how the roads are.
And by the way, our Frankie's one of those kids, doesn't like to wear his coat, even though he gets outside and says, it's cold out here. Listen, hey, want to give you a live look, courtesy of Live Cam Network at I-540 and Six Forks Road. Take a look at I-540 this morning, completely free and clear, but then take a look at Six Forks Road, the bridge right here, completely covered in snow and ice. Listen, if you're navigating 540 this morning, just be careful with that. This is a live look at Durham this morning, I-85 and Highway 70 this morning. Those roads are pretty much clear this morning, but you can see just the accumulated snow on the median and the shoulder of the road as well. Again, those secondary roads, those rural roads in Durham County, probably still a little bit of a challenge this morning. We showed you that I-540 look and Six Forks Road. If you're navigating 540 this morning, the westbound lane, you're just looking at a 2-minute delay. But if you're on Six Forks Road trying to get onto I-540 this morning, just be mindful of what we just showed you. Just a handful of incidents dotting on the traffic map this morning, but there are a couple I want to bring your attention to, particularly this crash on Globe Road in the westbound lane at Aviation Parkway. You can see the huge congestion that is building there on Aviation Parkway. If that's part of your commute to the airport or around there, I would recommend a different route. It's a disabled vehicle on South Saunders Street in Raleigh's South Side on Iliagnis Road, not causing any problems for you in that particular area, but just watch for police activity in terms of helping that motorist. If you're getting ready to head out this morning, do yourself a favor. 101.5 HD3 will keep you updated all morning long.
All right, thank you, Ken. And we are also following two big stories this morning. We're learning more about a shooting in Raleigh that killed two people and left a police officer in critical condition. We'll get back to that in a moment. We're also waking up this morning to a blanket of snow across the area. We're starting to see more reports of crashes. Highway Patrol says cars are losing traction and sliding on the roads. We are seeing that clear freeways in Durham, as Ken was showing you, but we are monitoring conditions for possible crashes. The highest snow total we've seen is 9 inches at Kill Devil Hill on the Outer Banks. There are 14 cancellations and 5 delays at RDU right now, and we are not seeing many power outages, which is some good news.
Now, our team coverage of the winter blast continues with WRAL's Chelsea Donovan. Chelsea has been tracking the road conditions in the Triangle. She's on Capitol Boulevard, headed toward a car accident. And Chelsea, this is one of those days people want to take their time when they're out on the roads.
Absolutely. We actually just went and checked out that wreck near Spring Forest and Fox Road. Thankfully, it was clear, but I can tell you right now we're going south on Lewisburg Road after checking that out. The secondary roads like Fox and Spring Forest, which is a pretty busy area, that is all still completely snowed over. Obviously, you're seeing Lewisburg Road here where we're at, approaching New Hope, looking a lot clearer. But I can tell you just at a couple points, we would lightly tap the brakes and you can still really skid. So it is best to be off the roads. If you're familiar with Lewisburg Road or Capitol, they run adjacent to each other, kind of going, north and south. And this is not typically what it looks like. Obviously, this would be heavy rush hour time. And so you can see very little traffic on the roadways. And that's good news, not only for drivers, but for first responders alike, who would have to be out here risking their lives to make sure that these motorists are safe should they be responding to any sort of accident. So you can see a lot of people heeding the warnings and staying inside at this hour, which is good news. We're going to head south and see what we can see as we're heading towards downtown. And, of course, we'll bring you continued coverage.
All right, that was Chelsea Donovan live for us. Thanks, Chelsea. Our eastern communities received a lot of snow. Our meteorologists say Rocky Mount received 3 inches, and crews there spent the past few days preparing the roads ahead of this winter weather. Joining us now is Tim Farmer with Rocky Mount Public Works. Tim, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
Of course. Well, so WRAL's Heidi Kirk, along with you and your team, you brine the roads. That's what Heidi told us. Tell us about those preparations that you took.
Well, we took the necessary precautionary measures and got out there early and started brining in preparation for the accumulation. And we got about 3 inches, so I was glad to get ahead, and it's been doing what it should do.
Well, that's always good news. That's what you want, right? Can you give us an update on the roads in Rocky Mount? How covered are they?
They're still quite covered. The major thoroughfares are somewhat passable as long as you take your time and utilize caution. But the side streets and secondary roads are still covered in ice, so they're quite dangerous to be traveling on this early in the day.
Yeah, just stay home if you don't have to be out. When would you say it's okay for folks to get out and about if they need to?
Well, if they absolutely have to, I would give it to mid-afternoon after 1, 2 o'clock to give the sun some time to come up and do what it can do today. With these lower temperatures, that's going to be difficult too.
And would you say there are any roads in particular that are especially bad this morning, worse than others?
Just the normal spots, the concrete areas, including the bridges and the overpasses and those side streets and secondary roads that we have not been able to get to, but we're got crews coming back in. The second shift went home, first shift's coming back, and we're going to jump back on and give it a little time and get back with the salt sand spreading. And we tried to plow a little bit, but it's a sheet of ice, so we'll just have to give that some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for everything that you and your crews do. We appreciate you. Tim Farmer, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
And we will have more coverage of the winter weather straight ahead. And just a reminder, you can get the latest forecast around the clock on WRAL.com, the WRAL News app, and WRAL News Plus. That's over the air on Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
A police officer is in critical condition after being shot in Raleigh. Just after 11:30 last night, Raleigh Police Chief Estella Patterson gave us that update. We also know 2 other people are dead in that shooting. WRAL's Eric Miller joins us live from the scene on Democracy Street. Eric, police, they are still more than 12 hours later.
And Michelle, still a very active scene. Over the last hour, we've been watching a lot of these officers coming and going as they continue to focus on this townhome right here off Democracy Street, the scene of that shooting. You take a look at this video here from last night. You can see dozens of officers out here, police cars absolutely everywhere from multiple jurisdictions here, all rushing to respond after those shots were fired. We know the call came into Raleigh police right around 5:30 yesterday. A woman saying her ex was trying to break into her home. When officers got out here, they heard gunshots, and then in the chaos that followed, 1 officer was shot and 2 other men were killed, including the man police say was the suspect.
But I want you to know that Raleigh is a strong community, a resilient community, and we will get through this together.
Now, the SBI as well as Raleigh Police Internal Affairs are going to be looking into this shooting. That's standard practice in a case like this. We're still working to learn the name of the people involved here as well. We'll bring you those details as soon as we get them. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
We'll take you out to Smithfield right now. This is a live look there. The largest news team in the Triangle is providing the best coverage to keep you and your family safe this morning. We'll have another check of traffic conditions when we return.
And as you step out the door, the wind chill in the single digits to low teens. We have another advisory in place. I'll let you know if we could see it again tomorrow, too.
We are getting you a live look this morning out at the Jimmy V Cam right here. As you see, the roads clearly have some crews that are out there preparing it. And that's basically kind of what it looks like today as you're driving in. I know I was driving in on Falls of Neuse this morning, Elizabeth, and there are some spots that still need a little work, but I mean, these crews are doing what they can considering the conditions.
Yeah, there are only so much of them, and we had snow covering, pretty much the entire area. The snow is gone, and the clouds are lingering. We're going to see that sun's coming out this afternoon. That will really help to melt some of the snow out there. This is a look at a few of the totals so far. We'll continue to have more of these coming in all morning, but Tarboro so far the highest at 4 inches, Wilson at 3 inches, Goldsboro 2 inches, Cary at about 1.25 inches, Chapel Hill at 1 inch, Lillington about 1 inch. We also have about 1 inch right here at WRAL. Chris Michaels out there standing around in that big inch of snow. How's it looking?
So far, so good. Yeah, out here on the sidewalk, it's sort of turned into a little bit of a skating rink, and I can actually point you down toward some of the snow that's fallen. And what you can see is kind of that layer of ice that's beneath the snow. But I also want to get a little pile of it right here. And what you'll notice is that it's very powdery. That's not very typical for us. In fact, I was looking back. Hey, look at that. That's a great shot. I was looking back at some of the data, and the kind of snow that we got, the texture of it, is more typical of Montana just because of how cold it was as the snow was coming down. That's a good thing because it's easier to remove. It's lighter. So for those of us that saw 1 inch or less, you could get away with like a leaf blower. But for those of us that maybe saw 3-4 inches, you're still going to have to shovel it out. But also remember, before you head out the door, if you have to, get the snow off your car just so that it's not flying to folks behind you. But Elizabeth, I always said I wanted to go to Iceland, and we've got our own mini Iceland right here. Fountain Mountain looks beautiful.
It does. It's amazing out there. Thanks for standing out there and withstanding the wind chill and, all that deep snow. You've got to stand around. Officially, it was 1.5 inches in Raleigh, but it was still the snowiest day since January the 20th. 2022. Talking about that snow, skiers love that real powdery snow that you get out west where it's so cold. The colder it is, the drier the snow is, and it's just light, fluffy stuff. And Chris said, too, it's easier to get it off the roads, off the sidewalks, and the crews have been doing a good job of clearing the main roads. Again, there are only so many of them, but they're working as hard as they can. The sun comes out by lunchtime or so, and that will really help the melting process, but it's cold, and we'll only hit freezing this afternoon and overnight tonight, we'll definitely see some refreezing. This is a look at Franklinton and even roads that haven't been plowed, where the cars have been driving and creating some ruts. Once that sun hits that dark spot, that will help to melt it and break it up a little bit more. Only 21 degrees out there right now. It is cold, cold, cold. And of course, we have a wind chill to go along with it. So we have a cold weather advisory in place again today. We'll probably see it posted again tomorrow as well. So today is a WRAL weather alert day. Current temperatures heading out the door are in the upper teens to low 20s, but then you throw in the wind chill and it feels like 9 in Durham and Raleigh, 6 in Rocky Mount. Chris was really good. He didn't complain about being out there where it feels like 9. 10 in Fayetteville, 10 in Roxborough. And you know what? Your kids are probably not going to complain about it either. They're probably going to say, I don't need a coat. But look at this. Even this afternoon, it's going to feel like temperatures in the upper 20s. Yes, that is my impression of my teenager who says, I don't need a coat. Samantha Barnes sent us this beautiful photo from Selma as that snow started to pile up in her backyard. And Jermaine Sundin from Raleigh. This is her granddaughter in that big old coat. She put a coat on. Smart girl. Isn't that a great shot? I love that. Please send us your photos. Go to WRAL.com/report it and send them our way. Only 33 in Raleigh, 31 in Durham, and 33 in Fayetteville for this afternoon. And it will be another cold night as our temperatures dip back down into the teens. After that, we start a slow warm up. By the time we get to early next week, temperatures are back to near normal. Ken's here to talk more about how those roads are looking.
Hey, Elizabeth, Chris's mom is probably wondering, where's his hat? That's all I think she wants to know. See, Mom, we tried. He refused. So let's get a live look at I-540 and Six Forks Road. I want you to pay attention to 540, it's free and clear, but look at Six Forks Road. That's the bridge over Six Forks Road this morning, completely covered in snow and ice. So if you're navigating 540 this morning, that's not a problem. You're just looking at a 2-minute delay. But be mindful, just in case you're using Six Forks Road to get onto 540 this morning. I want to take it over to Durham, give you a look at Highway 70 at Cheek Road. Here again, the main roadway there, Highway 70, free and clear this morning. But those secondary roads, those rural roads that were not pre-treated, that's a situation that's still a little bit of a challenge this morning. There are a handful of incidents on our traffic sensors this morning, but one I want to bring your attention to. This is a crash on Globe Road in the westbound lane Aviation Parkway. Just a few minutes ago, it was causing quite a bit of congestion there on Aviation Parkway, but it's sort of clearing up right now. But I'll keep an eye on that and let you know if it's going to continue to affect your morning commute. We have WRAL's Brett Neese and photojournalist Charles Bradley in Smithfield this morning on I-95. Brett, set the scene for us where you are.
Hey, Ken, good morning. Yeah, we are on I-95 southbound, just south of Smithfield, Selma. We're crossing over the Neuse River right now over this overpass here. You can see the shoulders, not in great shape, but the main roads, the roads themselves, are okay at this point as we approach the Four Oaks area. We've seen a number of these other side roads, side streets, neighborhoods that are still untouched and really tricky to navigate. I-95 itself looking pretty good, at least this stretch specifically. And those off-ramps, those are a little bit tricky to navigate as well. We're headed towards the Four Oaks area. Might not quite get to the exit here, but just want to check in with you. Johnson County, for the most part, those main roads, they're looking good, but those side roads and side streets are where there is still some work to be done. Take it slow. Take things easy, and as we continue to check in on different spots, we'll continue to check back in with you. For now, live in Johnson County, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
And we have team coverage this morning across the Triangle monitoring those slick road conditions. Let's start with meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the WRAL Storm Tracker. Amy, tell us where you're seeing out on the roads this morning. You're off of Glenwood right now?
Right, we're on a road just off of Glenwood called Arrow Drive. If you're familiar with Crabtree Valley Mall and the BP, we're right next to that. So take a look. This is a steep hill leading up to some of these hotels here. And, you know, some cars that maybe you don't have four-wheel drive or your tires don't have good tread on them will struggle to make it up a hill like this. And perhaps that's why those two cars right there are on the side of the road. We have four-wheel drive on the Storm Tracker. We have it on, and we can make it up the hill no problem. But this is just a sign of some of the side streets where some folks have had some struggles this morning. Not seeing too many issues out there on the main roads. It's mainly the side roads where we're still seeing those snow-covered roads. For now, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio, and we'll keep you posted how roads are looking like in and around Wake County area. Back to you.
And Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center right now. I want to take you to live pictures happening now in Gastonia, North Carolina. Over near Charlotte, there's a major fire burning at this warehouse. It's a 3-story building. It's a vacant building, but the point is the fire hydrants nearby were frozen. So fire officials had a hard time getting some water. They do have that water now, as you can see, obviously here pouring water on top of that huge plume of smoke there. That could be seen for miles there. The Gastonia Fire Department came to this. They're trying to keep themselves safe in these cold temperatures, meanwhile battling those frozen fire hydrants there. Also, they had a witness who was at a convenience store across the street, and police are reporting this. They saw a person with a propane tank go into that building, and then they heard an explosion and saw that person run away. So police are investigating this. They're trying to track down that person right now as fire officials there in Gastonia over near Charlotte trying to put that fire out.
Wow, quite a scene. Thanks, Jeff. Fayetteville is covered in snow. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker from earlier this morning. You can see snow is still falling downtown, including around the Special Operations Museum and the Market House. So beautiful.
And we do want to give you a live look at Fayetteville Street as teams are currently trying to get that prepped in downtown Raleigh. Our team coverage of this winter storm will be right back with a look at the road conditions near you.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
The coast is seeing the most snow from this storm. It's a beautiful sight at the beach. This is a live look at the Ocean Crest Fishing Pier on Oak Island. This is courtesy of Surf Checks. You can see all the snow there on the beach. Not a lot of people out there because it is cold. WRAL reporter Monica Casey is on the Outer Banks this morning. She sent us this video of the roads in Nags Head. This was taken just before 11:30 last night. Monica says most people stayed off the roads, but people will likely be walking around this morning to take it all in. A lot of people there have said they are happy for their children and grandchildren to have a snow day, some of them for the very first time.
My 7-year-old has never played in the snow, so we are going to build a snowman. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And making snow cream. When I was young, we always made snow cream. That was a big deal.
I have a grandson to be excited to make snowmen, but yeah, we'll see. Probably watch him make one.
Oh, memories for a lifetime. I love that. We have seen some closures at the Outer Banks as well. Schools and local governments are closed, including Nags Head and Dare County.
Now, the snowstorm also blanketed streets in Mobile, Alabama. At least 5 inches of snow fell yesterday. That snapped a 143-year-old record for the most snow in one day in the city. About 30 minutes away, people in the city of Fairhope enjoyed the rare snow day there.
You know, you don't see Fairhope under snow very often, so the last time I saw it was probably when I was a kid, about 7 or 8 years old.
And road conditions are a mess there this morning, so people are being urged to stay home if they can.
Well, coming up, a look at road conditions across the Triangle as we continue our team coverage of this Arctic blast.
We are done with the snowfall, but the travel issues are just beginning.
Some roads are definitely better than others.
The forecast worked out the way we expected it to.
We're definitely trying to take it slow because these roads are slick.
Where you see those tire tracks, what's underneath there, there's ice.
The coast is seeing the most snow from this storm.
It is beautiful, and in this case, it's going to hang around for a little while.
Our goal is to make sure you know exactly what the road conditions are like.
We have the largest news team in the Triangle providing coverage this morning to keep you and your family safe.
In addition to the weather, we're following stories from overnight. A Raleigh police officer in critical condition because of a shooting that left 2 other people dead. The new information, we're learning about what led up to that. A lot of stories that we're covering this morning. A bit of a snow-covered morning that you're having us here on WRAL. We're tracking that for you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Thanks for staying with us for our continuing coverage of the snow. If you are looking for the Today Show, you can find it on channel 5.2 and Spectrum channel 1255. But we are glad you are here with us. A beautiful sight at Dix Park. I've seen a couple people in the park with their pups running around. It is such a beautiful morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking where that snow is falling right now.
It is on the coast, moving off. As a matter of fact, here's the back edge of the clouds. We're beginning to see a little bit of sunshine breaking out here in some of our western counties. Once that sun comes out, it will look absolutely gorgeous. It'll start to feel a little better, even though it's going to still be really cold today. But it will also help to melt some of the snow that's on the roads. That dark pavement will begin to capture some of that sun's energy and start the melting process. We may not see as much melting, though, on the grass and the trees and cars and that sort of thing. We take a look at some of our snowfall reports. We're still getting those in, and we'll keep updating them. Tarboro at 4 inches, Wilson at 3, Seven Springs in Wayne County 3.5, Cary at a little over an inch, Garner at an inch, and Lillington at just under an inch. Officially at RDU, it was about an inch and a half. We'll likely see the skies clearing here over the next 2 hours or so. By lunchtime, we should all be seeing some sunshine in Cary. That sun's already beginning to break out. And I was looking when I pulled this up, there are people walking around enjoying the snow right here in the downtown Cary Park. I don't know that there's any sledding in the park, but you can see the cars driving by. The streets surrounding the park look like they're mainly clear. 21 is our temperature, and the wind is at 11 miles per hour. And that's pretty strong. It's enough to really drop that wind chill. So we're in the single digits to low teens with the wind chill. It feels like 9 in Durham and Raleigh. It feels like 6 in Rocky Mount. It feels like 10 in Fayetteville right now. So it's very cold. We do have the cold weather advisory, of course, in effect for this morning. We might see it again tomorrow. If your kids are headed out for sledding, you want to remind them that it's going to feel like upper 20s this afternoon. Our actual high in the low 30s. So very cold day, even with the sunshine. The snow is over. We're still looking at slick roads in a few places. And of course, those low wind chills. And of course, Ken is here to talk a little bit more about where the roads look the worst.
Yeah, these road conditions, we're staying on top of it, particularly this one on I-540 and Six Forks Road. We were showing you a little bit ago that Six Forks Road, getting onto I-540, completely covered in snow. This is a different camera angle of 540 for this morning. You can see 540 completely free and clear this morning, but that's Six Forks Road getting onto I-540 this morning, really still snowy and icy. You're just looking at a 2-minute delay if you're using I-540 as an alternate route. Taking it over to Durham this morning, this is I-85 and at Falls Lake there in Durham. You can see really just the snow on the median and the shoulder of the road, but the main road itself, the main highway there, I-85, completely free and clear this morning, which is good news. We have a handful of incidents dotting our live traffic sensors this morning, but there are one or two that I want to bring your attention to, particularly this crash on New Hope Road in the westbound lane near Rock Quarry Road. You can see it's causing a huge congestion there because this is New Hope Road over here, and this is once you cross over Rock Quarry, this morning, that's Jones Sausage Road. It's causing quite a bit of a slowdown in that area. When we see purple, that always gets our attention. I'll keep an eye on that and let you know how much that's going to continue to affect your morning commute. You're getting ready to head out the door this morning, 101.5 HD3. We'll keep you updated all morning long.
We are following two big stories this morning. We're learning more about a shooting in Raleigh that killed 2 people and left a police officer in critical condition. We'll catch you up on that in just a bit. But first, we really want to talk about that blanket of snow that we saw across the area. Right now, you're seeing a live look at Southern Pines, and as expected, no one hitting the links this morning. We're starting to see more reports of crashes outside. Highway Patrol says cars are losing traction and sliding on roads. And we're seeing clear freeways in Durham, but we're monitoring conditions for possible crashes. The highest snow total we have seen is 9 inches at Kill Devil Hills on the Outer Banks. There are 14 cancellations and 14 delays at RDU if you plan on traveling. And we're not seeing many power outages this morning.
And we have team coverage this morning across the Triangle, monitoring those slick road conditions. Let's get back to Amy Wilmoth and the WRAL Storm Tracker on Glenwood Avenue driving towards Durham. Amy, tell us what you're seeing out there. How are the roads?
Well, this is good news. Glenwood Avenue, as we head toward Durham, moving away from Crabtree Valley Mall. Take a look. It's pretty clear. Now, if you try to get over into one of the lanes to turn onto one of the side roads, that's where you'll probably run into some snow. But the 2 main lanes of Glenwood Avenue are clear. No problem at all driving down these roads. Now, if, let's see, I can put this camera up here. And if you look at the side roads, so as you turn off and you go down one of the side roads, those are covered in snow. I also wanted to show you the road camera again and check out the blue sky. There's a little bit of blue sky there too. So hopefully we can get some melting to happen once that sun starts to shine, starting to brighten up a little bit. And Chris mentioned there's really not many power outages. This was some really light, fluffy snow, not that heavy snow that really weighs down those branches on the trees. So if you look at the trees, there's not a lot of snow in the trees. Very helpful having that light, fluffy snow to keep from weighing those down and causing more power outages. We're headed toward Durham, and we're going to keep you posted on how the roads look in and around the Durham area. We've been really focused in on Wake County, and now we're going to focus in a little bit on Durham County, and we'll have an update here in a little bit. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Amy. We'll check back in with you. The largest news team in the Triangle is providing the best coverage to keep you and your family safe this morning. That includes WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She is out on US 1, headed toward Dix Park to see the sledding that's going to happen there this morning. So, Kelsey, are you going to be hitting the slopes this morning?
Chris, you know what? If it's available to me, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I need to redeem myself from the last time I went sledding on live television. So if it's out there for me, I do plan to do it. But right now, you are having a live look at 40 East in Raleigh. So as Chris mentioned, we're on our way to Dix Park right now. We'll give you a live side-by-side look of Apex. So that is a neighborhood near South Mason Street, what you're looking at right now. So that whole area there is just covered in snow. But as far as all of the main roads, you really should be just fine. Maybe you may see some snow on ramps in that area. But other than that, you should be good to go. But overall, really, you should just avoid being out on the roadways because it can be dangerous, a little slick out there. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Will Kelsey redeem herself? Find out on 9 o'clock on WRAL News. No, but seriously, we will have more coverage of the winter weather straight ahead. And remember, you can get the latest forecast around the clock on WRAL.com, the WRAL News app, and WRAL News Plus. That's over the air on Channel 34 and Spectrum 1257.
Breaking this morning, a man was shot and killed in Fayetteville. It happened at about 2 a.m. on Patrick Drive. There, officers found a man with gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. The man's identity is being withheld until his family can be notified. We are working to learn more about the shooting and will bring you any updates as they become available.
Okay, so we do want to go back to that deadly shooting that happened in Raleigh. This was just after 11:30 when Police Chief Estella Patterson last night said that an officer is in critical condition and 2 people, including the suspect, were dead. WRAL's Eric Miller, he joins us live from the scene on Democracy Street. Eric, you have been there for quite some time, and police are still on scene more than 12 hours later?
Oh, Chris, that they are. We've actually moved from that Democracy Street location to try to get a better sense of what's still going on out here this morning as the sun has finally come up. We're set up now on Chapin Oak Road, and this vantage point is giving us a sense of the drama that played out here last night. You see that Raleigh Police SWAT vehicle still here on scene, a battering ram attached to the front. You can see how police used that last night to breach the garage door there. That door absolutely shattered. Take a look at this video here. You get a sense of just how massive this police presence was last night. Dozens of officers from multiple jurisdictions all rushing to this scene. Raleigh police say the call came in just after 5:30 yesterday. A woman saying her ex was trying to break into her home. When police got to this scene, they heard shots fired, and in the chaos that followed, that Raleigh police officer was shot and 2 other men were killed, including the man police say was the shooter.
Most of all, I want to thank the community for your patience. The last couple of days have been a difficult time for our police department and for our city. What we have endured as a community is heavy.
Certainly a difficult time. Estella Patterson speaking there. We have heard so many requests from this community, from Raleigh Police, for prayers for that officer who remains in critical condition. Now this morning, both Raleigh Police Internal Affairs as well as the SBI are investigating the shooting. That's standard procedure in a case like this. And we're still working to learn exactly who the people were involved in this shooting. We'll bring you those details as soon as we get them. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
And of course, we'll have coverage on that throughout the day. Back to our focus on the weather here. You're going to have to deal with messy roads if you're going to need to get out and about today, as we show you a live look at the Wilson Whirly gigs. We have team coverage of the snowstorm when we return.
And this morning, a look from above as we see the sky gradually clearing. Once it does so, there's a couple things you'll need to keep in mind both during the day and at night. I'll walk you through that coming up.
Now.
Welcome back as we take a live look over Zebulon in the snow. They have there, you see one car there driving around, but we're not seeing too many people out on the roads today. Don't go out if you don't have to. Some of the side roads are very slick. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking exactly where all this snow is falling right now. You know, it's so great to see people getting outside because some people have never seen snow.
It's been 3 years since we had any real measurable snow across our area, especially right here officially in the Triangle. And so here it is at the coast in particular. Boy, historic snow there, records that they've set. The snow is pushing off the coast right now. And of course, it's over here where we are. Starting to see the sun break out in a few places. Here are a few of our snowfall reports so far. We keep getting these in, so we'll keep updating them. But Tarboro, the highest so far at 4 inches. Wilson at 3. Seven Springs and Wayne County, 3.5 inches. Cary at a little over an inch. Garner at about an inch. Lillington, a little under an inch. And Raleigh, it was about an inch and a half. Poor meteorologist Chris Michaels is out there in the very cold temperatures, taking a look at that snow. How's it out there, Chris?
Hey, you say poor meteorologist, Chris. I'm having a blast out here. We've got Fountain Mountain behind me, and you know, it's cold, but this is kind of what we live for, right? So let's talk about the snow. As we're starting to see the clouds break up, we're seeing more sun, and that's going to cause a little bit of a reaction here both during day and night. So snow, it reflects 90% of the sunlight that comes in. So that's going to help the melting process on the roads. But if you have to be out and about, just remember your sunglasses. Here's another thing that you'll have to keep in mind. At night, it actually increases the amount of heat that leaves the surface. So by first thing tomorrow morning, we'll be at 10 to 15 degrees. There's that threat for some refreezing. Make sure you give your pets and your local weatherman a nice warm place to stay. But all jokes aside, remember to leave the faucet dripping, especially if you have exposed piping, at least one in your house, just so that you avoid any kind of issues first thing tomorrow morning. But back out here, outside the WRAL weather studios. The road there, Western Boulevard, is plenty quiet. Just have a few cars going by. That seems to be pretty clear. But again, these sidewalks right here, they're not going to really clear up very soon, and any kind of refreezing overnight is going to make them slick. So I would definitely plan for potential delays heading into tomorrow morning. Elizabeth?
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, well, we know you love it out there. Take a look at the road temperatures. 19 in Roxborough, 21 Durham, 23 in Fayetteville. So we are easily 10 degrees below freezing out there on the road. So it will be a fairly slow process. The crews have done a great job of clearing a lot of the main roads for sure. But the side roads will likely stay covered for much of the day. Areas where we begin to see a little bit of the snow clearing, the sunshine interacting with that dark pavement will help that melting process. This morning, dangerous wind chills in the single digits, and we'll see that again tomorrow. Beginning to see a little sunshine. Take a look at North Hills there. Blue sky up above. Cars are driving up and down in front of North Hills on the Beltline, looking just fine. But Fayetteville, completely snow covered there, 2 to 3 inches of snow. And a lot of snow here on Salem Street and Apex. It's looking a little bit better, more cars driving on it, and it's beginning to melt. All clear in Chapel Hill, right here in downtown, but you can be sure that there are definitely some secondary roads where it's still pretty slippery. The snow is falling like big time, big flakes at Carolina Beach right now. There are some folks out. I bet they're making some big sandy snowballs out there on the beach. Isn't that an amazing view? That snow about to pull out for good, and so much has fallen. In the Wilmington area, up to 6 inches. Up and down the coast, all the way up to Morehead City, about 8 inches. And some official totals, Kitty Hawk at 9 inches, Kill Devil Hills at 8 inches. We have Monica coming up in just a little while. Monica Casey in our 9 o'clock hour. She's out on the Outer Banks. I cannot wait to see what that looks like when we get to her, coming up in just about 10 or 15 minutes. Down into Florida, record. I mean, they blew out the record. The previous record, 4 inches in Milton, and they ended up with 8 to 9 inches of snow there along the Gulf Coast. Our biggest story, of course, as we're going forward is the cold temperatures. We have a cold weather advisory. That wind chill is in the single digits in the Triangle and over around Rocky Mount. And we'll probably see the same thing again for tomorrow morning. So another cold night as As Chris said, we're back down into the teens. And then we start to see a warm up for the weekend. But of course, we have a few more cold days to deal with. Ken here talking about the roads.
Just around 10 minutes before 9, Elizabeth, we're staying on top of the road conditions, particularly on our main routes, including here at I-40 and Rock Quarry Road. Very little traffic to report, which is good news. People are staying off the roads. Taking it over to Durham this morning, I got an email from one of our viewers asking about 15501. Well, here it is. This is I-40 right there. You can see I-40 completely clear, and 15501 right here, completely clear this morning as well. So, Janice, there's your look at 15501. Thanks for that email this morning, and of course, thank you for watching. Now, there are a handful of incidents dotting our live traffic sensors this morning, and really and truly, there are a couple that I want to bring your attention to, particularly this one here that we're going to start with, pretty much in the southeast Raleigh area. It's a situation that we've been watching all morning long. This crash just cleared on South New Hope Road. This is New Hope Road right there. Once you cross over Rock Quarry, it becomes Jones Sausage Road, but we're seeing quite a bit of a delay in terms of the congestion that's there on Jones Sausage Road. So you want to avoid Jones Sausage Road for right now. This is other entrance ramp, a crash between Glenwood Avenue and I-440 eastbound, not causing any problems in that particular area, but just watch for some police activity if you happen to be navigating Glenwood Avenue this morning. We do have WRAL's Brett Neese and photographer Charles Bradley out on the roadways in Johnston County this morning. Brett, where are you? And set the scene for us.
Yeah, Ken, good morning. We are on Hickory Grove Church Road. This is in the Four Oaks area, kind of near Reedy Creek Golf Course, if you're familiar with that part of Johnston County. And take a look. These are some of these back roads, some of these side roads that we're talking about all morning long that are completely untouched and completely covered at this point. One of these, the road that we're on right now, Hickory Grove Church Road, is kind of a windy road, and it is causing a little bit of a tricky navigation for us right now with Charles Bradley behind the wheel. And we are headed towards the Fuquay Arena area for a couple of reports that we're going to check out. But this is what we've been talking about, is these side roads, these country roads that are really in bad shape right now. We're able to navigate safely. There's nobody else out on the roads right now. Can't really see the lines right now. Hopefully this sun that you can see off in the distance is starting to poke through the clouds, and maybe it'll help melt some of this off here over the next few hours or so. But we're going to continue to check back in with you as we check out several other reports that are out here in the Johnston County and Southern Wake County areas. And once we do, we'll keep you updated. Live in Johnston County, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
All right, thank you, Brett. And we can't help but notice the cute little pup playing in the snow behind us at Dix Park. So adorable. All right, our team coverage of the winter blast continues with WRAL's Chelsea Donovan.
And Chelsea has been actually tracking the road conditions in the Triangle. And right now she is near UNC Rex Hospital on Durley Road. So tell me a little bit what it's looking like behind you there, Chelsea.
Yeah, just a few moments ago when we rolled up, we did see a car that was actually stalled out here on Durley Road. I want to show you. This is because it's still got a lot of snow and ice right on top of it. Just before we came to you live, we actually saw a DOT snow plow come and sort of scrape this area. I would imagine because we're near a hospital, so they want to make sure that these roads are completely cleared out. And that is not the case here at this moment. The good news is we're not seeing a lot of traffic on this road. Normally, this is an area that abuts to a lot of different doctors' offices and things of that nature. There's one here that's actually closed. The secondary roads getting here, like Lake Boone Trail, Edwards Mill, a little dicey still at this point, so we're glad to see some of the plows coming and clearing this off. But you can see a lot of these cars here on the roadway taking it really slow, and that's because, as I mentioned, the roads here are not completely clear. We're not seeing like what we saw on Capitol or Glenwood and Lewisburg, where they put that brine down and it did a good job of clearing the roadways. We actually saw when the DOT came through, they were dumping what looked like a sand and salt mixture on the road just to enhance that efforts. We're waiting, of course, for the snow, for the sun to come out, rather, so we can hopefully see a difference in the roadways here. But right now, we're live on Durley Road in Raleigh. Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
And hopefully those roads get cleared up a little bit more than that.
Yeah, even if you have four-wheel drive, be careful out there.
Hey, we do have a look at your winning lottery numbers just in case you missed them.